Hello, 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 beautiful souls. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm excited to have you here. We will be talking today about the changes for the next week or so. We are on the 21st of April 2026 when I'm recording this. It's been beautiful outside, a few days of pre-summer weather after so much rain this winter. Hallelujah. I know it's gonna get colder tomorrow, but I'm taking it all in. Whatever we can take, right? So, the transits of this week astrologically, and also probably certain messages that will come forward. As you all know, before I started being an astrologer, I was also a spiritualist, as we say. So I've been working with energies, receiving messages, and being a channel and a healer for many years. And now I concentrate my energy into astrology because it makes so much more sense to me. And that's why I'm sharing here a bit of my take on what's happening around the globe, and we have a big shift coming. So the big shift is Uranus entering in the sign of Gemini. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Taurus season starting really now. And we also have Saturn and Mars together having a bit of a chat right now. So those are the three main transits I'm going to be speaking about. I would love for you to leave a comment. Let me know how you've been feeling. We are ending. I'm going to start with the big one, I think, because it feels very, very potent. So we are 5 days a week of Uranus moving into Gemini. It's been 7 years that it has transited through the Taurus part of your chart. If you know where it is for you, it could be an angular house, it could be the first, the fourth, the seventh, or the 10th, or it could be any other houses. And the house that has been transformed through that very intense Uranian energy once wanted you to break free from what was not aligned with you. The thing with Uranus is that it's sudden changes. A lot of people are not really comfortable with this energy unless you're used to it because you have very intense Uranian placement. So it really depends. But what Uranus wants is for that part. So in Taurus, what we want is stability, right? That's what Taurus is all about. It's about stability. It's about wanting to have financial freedom, really feeling that we can enjoy our five senses because it is, after all, ruled by the beautiful planet Venus, and enjoy life. And it's a slow paced energy. Uranus is completely the opposite of that. Not that it doesn't want that, but when it entered in 2018, it started to peak in, and in 2019, it really settled in to the sign of Gemini. What happened is that this part of your sky really shifted. For me, it was my work, my place of living. In 2019, there were so many changes in my life. This is where I moved back from the East Coast to the West Coast. This is when I started a new job. This is when I started to have another deepening of my psychic abilities. My spiritual gift came online. It was just like so much changes in all areas of my life. I had just finished a long-term relationship. It was just, a lot of change inside and out. So that was just the start of it. And then if you've followed me for quite a bit, you know that since 2019, it's been quite a ride too. So the story for you will be very much your own, right? And what we know when we look at the houses is that we know the themes that could be involved in that. And when I was talking about the angular houses, the ones fourth and seventh and tenth, is because the angular, they can actually affect other parts of your chart. So those are usually the most potent one. And because it's a transit that lasts 7 years, I think a lot of us are just like, "Ah, finally it's gonna like come to an end." But what I want for you, and maybe that's a reflective questions I'd love for you to look into, is reflecting on where have I let go of things that were not in alignment with me, whether it was a workplace, a career, a relationship, friendship. It could be even the way you see the world, the way you interact with the world. You would put Annabelle from version 2018 with Annabelle now? Wow, we're two different person. Like we're two different people because of all of these shifts. So Uranus is not the only planet moving through everything. So there's been other transit, but I'm focusing on this one because this is one of the biggest of this year. So reflect. If you know the house and you want me to like just put a little snippet of what it could be looking like for you, what it would have been for you, put it in the comments. Which one if the is the house where Taurus sits? Use whole sign for that because it's gonna be easier for the transit. We use Time Lords, which are the planets that are ruling the sign, and it's kind of easier for all of us when we do predictions to use that. So that's kind of traditional astrology. That's what I'm using, so I'll be able to like tell you if you tell me which house you have and what that could have been, and you can tell me if that actually feels in alignment. For me, it feels so much in alignment. That's why I'm studying more and more and doing so many more readings because when you understand that the planets, they're not taking your power away. They're shifting things so that you're aligned to your soul's path. What happens is that when were born, what happened is that you chose the time of your birth, you chose the date, you chose your parents, you chose so many things. But there's a reason for that. You didn't come here for no reason. There's a reason for that. Your North Node is part of it. Your Saturn is your lesson. Your Jupiter is where you want to expand things in your life. If you want to know all about these planets, actually, I have a beautiful course that will be starting mid-May, and I will link the link below so that you can look it up. And I would love to see you there. I'm not going to take a lot of people because I want it to be kind of personalized. So click on the link. I was supposed to potentially start last week, but it was just so intense energetically. I was like, no, we're starting in mid-May. It's going to be more aligned. So if you look at where Taurus was in your chart, you'll know. I mean, you already know. Without me telling you, you know in which area of your life you've had so many changes. Um, and then now it's gonna move into Gemini, and that's on the 25th that we end that cycle in Taurus, and it's on the 26th that we will have Uranus and Gemini. Uranus is gonna be a lot more comfortable there to make the changes it wants to do because Gemini is like positive and excited, it's curious, it wants to do so many different things. You're gonna have a very deep rejuvenation of how you think. I'm feeling a lot of people will have downloads of very, very intense, great, cool downloads of information and insight that will be supporting us. We will see a lot of development in technologies, a lot of things that you see in the movies and you don't even think it can actually happen, and we'll see them. And I don't think it's gonna be kind of just, like how many times we saw, for those of us who are a little older, we we were looking at movies and we were like, nah, that's not possible. It's gonna happen. And see how everything is happening now. So the things that were very far away from us, now they're gonna be coming more and more in touch with us. That brings also the topic of ethics with all of these things because we're talking about artificial intelligence. We're talking also about technologies that can heal, but technologies that can do a lot of different things. We can talk like there's gonna have, I'm feeling there's gonna have more of like, we use those, but what if you could have me projected into another place and I'm here, but I'm doing a presentation somewhere else and it looks like I'm there, right? And I can interact with people because of whatever technology I'm using. It can be used for good, I think, but you know how we need to retrain our brain right now to know what's real in front of us and not? We're gonna have to do a lot more of that in the next 7 years because Uranus is going to be like, let's channel the energy, let's make it happen. A lot of people are just going to become very interested in innovations. So it's an internal process in that part of our chart. And it's going to be also a societal, a humanitarian type of energy. It can be used for good, as I said, but it's just it requires of us to stay in alignment with our values, what is true to us. And I was speaking with friends lately, and I was really tuning into like the separation that the spiritual community has been speaking about. I think it's going to be probably around that. Like some people want to have more human connections, and other people want to have less of them and be more in connection with artificial type of intelligence. So we'll see how it goes, you know. For me, I know that Uranus brings a lot of sudden changes. And I mean, we all know that what is stable in life is change. I know that there are changes that will happen in my own life that I cannot predict. And, there's, you know, a lot of things that I wouldn't want at the human level to happen in my own life or whatever for my friends, my family, my pets, and everything. But at the same time, this is part of the cycle of life that we came here to experience. So don't be afraid of Uranus moving into Gemini. Just know it's going to move a lot faster. And it's going to require of us to be more centered and go to the earth and disconnect from those things even more. So I've been saying that a lot on this channel, but it's going to become even more so important because of the intensity of the information we're going to get. And I think we'll see it also in a way that we're channeling our information. I've never been really good or interested in doing really short reels on social media because I was like, I have so many things I want to say. How do I do that? And some people are really good at it. I have other gifts. So some people will be wanting to have more depth. They will want to have access to information that will be supportive of them then, maybe not a long process of, trying to like find things. I think they will want things to come kind of at the right time. I think we can actually feel that this energy is going to bring us everything. But again, discernment is going to be super important because if we're not discerning, we can actually grab all of the information, for example, that is shared through AI, which, there's no way to know if it's true or not. It's just going into data telling you what it's finding, but is it true? Is it for your own good? That's where this discernment is required. But that's all each and everyone, our work, work to do with all of these changes coming along. Today is the day that our beautiful Taurus friends will start having their birthday. Happy birthday if you're a Taurus person. So this is in the northern hemisphere, this is a time where we plant the seeds, where we start, seeing a bit more life outside. This is a slow pace so that the garden that we will want to harvest later this summer can, grow and get fertilized. And this is a good time to focus on what would you like to your life to look like and this fall, like, do you feel like your life is stable enough? Have you nourished yourself? Do you slow down or you're just running every time, everywhere, every minute of the day? I used to be like that, by the way. This version of me would not recognize me even walking, but the pace I was walking before. But yes, so slowing down, reflecting on what you want, and do enjoy the beauty, the little gifts of life. We still have Venus for a few more days in the sign of Taurus. She's really happy there, so enjoy that. It's going to be helping us to connect to these frequencies. Saturn and Mars, what are they doing? So Saturn and Mars are quite close to each other, and that creates that we need structure, Saturn, and we want to take action. And sometimes those two, they don't really fit. It's not time yet, Saturn says. And I was sharing, I have a Telegram group. I'll put it below if you want to just listen to me talking on Telegram. But there is this energy. Saturn is like, if I'm not allowing you to do this action, if there's like delays, because Saturn is the Lord of time. it creates delays, and I think a lot of people with all these energies we've had in the sign of Aries lately, it's like it can create frustration, right? You want to do something, it's not happening, and you're just like, oh, this push and pull energy. But Mars is still, your motivation, what you want to move forward with, what you're fighting for in life. It's like so interesting to see your own Mars sign will be an area of life that you want to create a change. You want to defend those that maybe need the support there, or you want to shine brightly in this area of your life, or this is where you're super bold. Also, your Aries part of your chart, this is where you're bold. So depending on where it lands, and what's the connection with the planets are there too, of course, it will give you a lot more insight on that house and that aspect of you. So when Saturn is like, okay, yeah, well, I'm gonna like just slow down and I'm gonna put the brakes, it's just annoying it a little bit, right? So just remember that it could be only potentially that it's not time yet, and there's still energies or things that are kind of building up in the background that will be supporting the creation when it's time. So don't try not to get too frustrated with this kind of push and pull energy. It's it's really, Saturn wants us to be mature, and Mars is not a very mature planet, right? It's like, I want to go now. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It rules Aries, of course. So, it wants to go now and it doesn't want to wait, and it's okay. We all know Aries people, and we all have people that have a stronger sense of Mars. But Saturn is like, well, have you looked into this? Have you prepared for this? And can we just let a couple days more? Or like it's not going to be forever, right? That transit. I'm trying to see if I have any other notes, but just remember that this slowing down is to make you potentially, when we go very fast and we're like, oh man, I didn't think that that could happen. Or like you realize you went so fast into something that you had not looked at every pieces of it. That's what Saturn is asking us to do right now. Right. So make sure that you are intentionally rest with these energies and embody the Taurus in you. We all have Taurus and Venus in us. And make sure that you are allowing yourself to be maybe even slower than usual if need be on certain projects. If you need to channel your Mars energy, which can be quite a lot of energy, do something creative. It's very passionate. Like Mars is like the energy we need to kind of propulse us forward. So like understand this is going to be this can be channeled in the way that you decide it to. We will have a beautiful potent, I'm kind of going a little bit further down the line, but a potent full moon um in the sign of Scorpio on the 1st of May. This will be building up, okay? So if you're usually a little bit and you feel the energy quite intensely in your own life when there is a full moon in the water sign, just know it's happening in about 10 days and you might feel more intense. These planets will also be kind of connected to Pluto. There's like a few aspects. I'll talk more in the next video about that, but just know that there is an invitation. What I'm hearing is like closing chapters of things or maybe reviewing decisions of things that maybe you would have, when we set ourselves small or we think we have kind of an idea how things are going to evolve, a bit linked to what I was saying earlier, and then in the end it doesn't turn the way we thought. So, like, let go of anything that you feel you're responsible for that hasn't turned out the way you wanted it. If you have water signs, placements, so sun, moon, rising, or any other planets, because if you have a stellium in the water sign, you'll feel that one. Um, just know this is a big release, but always those big full moon, they're culminations of energies. They want us to see, okay, this is where we started because they always started about 6 months prior. We seed something and it takes about 6 months to unfold. It depends if it's an eclipse or not, but that's another video to create all of this information for you. But It's a 6 months unfolding. So what 6 months prior to May 1st, what had you envisioned for yourself? Do you see that because Scorpio is a strong, powerful, intense sign. It's very psychic, very intuitive, very not scared to go into darkness. It's ruled in traditional astrology by Mars. So it's also linked to what's happening right now, right? I just spoke about Mars. And then, which is like more your self-empowerment and everything and your motivation to do things. And there's also this other layer, which is Pluto. And Pluto is wanting us to transform from within. If you have planets in the eighth house, you know what I'm talking about. If you have a lot of planets in Scorpio, you also know that. Because these energies, what they want is us to transform what isn't in alignment with our truth. Doing shadow work, as I was saying in one of my last videos, is not easy. It's not fun. But then on the other side, you gain so much more internal power. It's not about exerting power to up towards others. It's about claiming your power back to about things that have happened to you where maybe you felt powerless and maybe you felt like things were not fair and whatever the story was attached to it, right? But then once that's cleared out, what I'm feeling is that a lot of us, if you look back, that would have been, I don't have the date right now. I'll talk to it the next time I do a video, but it would have been end of December, potentially in December sometimes. Sometime there that we had a new moon in Scorpio. So can you see how much you've changed just since then? That's 6 months ago. My energy level, my way of thinking, whatever happened between inside of these 6 months, wow. It's been quite intense. It's been quite transformative. And I think I'm not the only one. Put in the comments, let me know. Like, have you felt like this shift inside of your life since December? Wow. Like, yeah, I think it's been life-changing for a lot of us. And I feel with all of the things I've just shared, we're going to feel the fire horse energy now. Starting this weekend when Uranus enters Gemini and all the other things we're going to see the momentum. We've been, something I wanted to share is that we've been working for all of you that are in your spiritual path for eons of time to come here on earth at this very specific moment in time where things are, yes, they seem like they're crumbling, and sometimes we look outside and we're like, oh my God, what's happening with the humanity and the world and everything, but you've trained lifetimes for that. And this is the time for us that have been working on this path for a long time to go on this fire horse and be the leader we came here to be. And I'm not saying that everybody's going to have millions of followers. I think that actually with Uranus and Gemini is going to fall. If it was based on fake energy, it will shift. Uranus doesn't do fake. It doesn't do anything that is not connected to your truth. So if anything falls away in the next 7 years, and it's related to, something, it will be linked. I'm not saying everything, of course, because depending what's going to happen in your life, but it could be linked to something that was not fully anchored in your truth. So anyone that has millions of followers, if it's not real, it will fall apart in the next 7 years. Even I think it will be a lot faster than that. Also, last thing I didn't say about this transit is that Gemini is the opposition of Sagittarius. So if you have Uranus and Sagittarius, you would be between 40 and 45 years old. You will have your Uranus opposition. So just know that in this part of facing in your chart, right? Gemini is one side, and on the other side you have Sagittarius. If you have Uranus there, you will have your position. This means that this area will be very active too. So you're expect changes there. I'm gonna sit down, do. And if you want to have more of an in-depth reading about what that could mean for you, let me know. If you have Uranus in Scorpio, you just had for the last 7 years, you had your opposition. Let us know in the comments how was that for you when you had a very specific opposition. And if you're about to have your Sagittarius opposition, you'll know it will bring. Sagittarius is an energy very different than Scorpio, of course, not more interesting. I know because I will have mine, Uranus opposition. So this happens to be an energy where we will want to anchor freedom, exploration, expansion. So if you felt very constricted, you will want to break those walls energetically. I'm not saying break the walls of your house if you don't want to, right? That's not what I'm saying, but you will want more expansion. You will want more freedom. You will want to be in your truth and be surrounded of people that do not put you in a cage anymore. So a lot of people that have Uranus in Sagittarius, depending which house it is, also depends on that. They could have felt that people around them would want to try to like kind of make them be in a certain way when they didn't want to. So just understand that this is going to be activated so that you can bring back your truth. You feel empowered. You decide for you. You are the best version of you, right? In your own truth. Okay, so if you want to learn about the planets, if you want to connect with each and all of the 10 planets we have in the solar system, and you want to have a bit of information what's to come in the next transits, I have a 6-week course. We start on May 15th. I will connect with everyone. We're going to be about 8 or 10 people joining. So let me know if you want any more information. Otherwise, the link will be below to join us. And I can't wait to see you then. Sending you so much love.